Well, things are wrapping up. Press conference just ended. And John Gruden has been introduced as the Raiders head coach. This was one of the most impressive head coach introductions that I've seen from the Raiders. And I've seen quite a few. I'm talking about when I first started following the Raiders, it was Tom Flores. You wouldn't have another head coach for a while, but since that time, when he got fired, we're going 5-11. There's been quite a few coaches. And this one didn't seem fake. John Gruden just comes across with so much credibility. He just does not talk about this is how it's going to happen. We're going to make guarantees right now. These are the guarantees. We're going to win. We're going to do this. We're going to do. All he's saying is he's going to give the best effort possible. That's it. I mean, I can remember some of the other ones. The last one would have been Jack Del Rio. I don't remember. I think Jack Del Rio would have been a little, more reserved. I can't remember some of the more outrageous ones. All I know is he was most impressive. What wasn't impressive about this press conference? I would say the sound technician. The volume was too low on the video broadcast on Raiders.com/live.html. It was just too low. I mean, I had the volume up on my audio interface at max. Normally that would be very loud for most websites. And everyone knows some website, they just, what? You just blew my speakers, some of that was the, what's that stupid travel thing where the guy doesn't shave or whatever. He's all monotone and, it just pops right out, bang, So I'm used to certain volumes of certain advertisers and stuff. I hate the ones that use that low bass. So my speakers really aren't low bass speakers. They're regular studio monitors, Neumanns, and they're not for low bass. I don't like low bass, but I'm used to hearing a certain volume from broadcasts across the internet. And I think the Raiders are still in the mimeograph overhead projector. They're still evolving. There's another impression. You just saw Jim Plunkett right there. Did you see the look on Jim Plunkett's face in Tom Flores? They were not too happy. They never once smiled at anything, no matter what it was. The jokes, Spider Y2 banana, no trade clause. They weren't impressed by Gruden. I think they did not. They'd have to speak themselves about this, but my impression, or only thing I could think of, is they didn't like the fact that Jack Del Rio was fired like that. It was pretty tacky. I guess Mark Davis came up to him on the practice. On the after the game, the last game, and said, just bumped into him and said, "Thank you for your service, but we don't need you back next year." Or something. We're talking about a guy that he's a California boy and he went to Haywood High. I've been looking at his pictures from Haywood High. He could have, back then, he could have been in the movie Days and Confused, maybe. Like one of those guys in that group, he would be one of the ones that went around with the paddle. He would have fit into that whole thing. But I was most impressed by Del Rio. I mean, by Gruden. Gruden, like I said, he's got that sort of charm, and it looks like he dyed his hair. I don't know if it was the lighting, but it looks like he's dyed his hair a little lighter than it was before. It must be all gray now, or a good amount. But he was saying all the right things, I think. And he avoided any sort of rabbit holes. Notice how Mark Davis helped them out on the protest. Didn't want to approach that. Well, I think they're gonna have to approach that. I still don't agree with this whole Oakland Raider thing. Yeah, it's fine if you want to be sentimental, but the fact is there are dollars involved, and there are taxes. And California has pathetic taxes. And Vegas just happens to not have taxes. Except for like a hotel tax that is going to finance their new stadium. That's Howie Long right there. But I, as a Raider fan, I'm taken back to when he first came to the Raiders. It's like, who is this guy? No one knew who he was. And he was making those faces again. I remember the internet was kind of young. It was real young for most people back then. I didn't have a computer. I think I had web TV. And one of the first things I did once I got online is, sought out like information on the Raiders and stuff. And I think ESPN was around then. Go to their message boards. But there was some other Raider message boards. I don't even know what their names were. Really, I can't remember. There was a lot of them. And they were like simple websites like on GeoCities or one of those free sites. It was nothing fancy like today. And I just remember how it started. Just the Raider fans would be talking amongst each other, and they would come up with nicknames for people. And someone, I don't know who it was, because someone coined it. I saw it being coined. Because I don't think it was coined it could have been coined on the street. There was more to the world than just the internet. And especially back then, there was hardly any people. But I do think it actually was on the internet, how it came about. I've not researched it, re-researched it. I mean, all the information is probably gone now. Those message boards in archive. But I just remember someone started calling him Chucky. It's like kind of like what was it, last year, the year before, whenever the Dallas Cowboys, when they drafted Ezekiel Elliott. As soon as I saw his face, I was like, Bloodsucking Freaks, the exploitation film from the 70s. There's a little midget in it, and it's totally. Now, Dallas Cowboys don't pick up on that, and they're definitely not gonna celebrate Bloodsucking Freaks. It's an exploitation movie where it's completely over the top. It's another horror movie, but Dallas Cowboys, we're America's team. Not gonna do that. It's about a sort of a guy called Sadu, I think, or something. He's like a sadist, and he abducts women and cuts them in half with this little midget. It's like his Igor. I think his name might have been Igor. whatever. It's like a play on that, but it's really over the top. Didn't have the special effects that would come later in horror movies, but it's an exploitation movie. It's meant to shock you. But that is him. And obviously some Raider fans like horror movies, and they noticed Chucky. Never really got into Chucky. Just not my horror film, I guess. Maybe I'll go back and watch it. Maybe I'll see it, have a different perspective. I've never liked any horror movies with kids, sort of kid characters like Pet Sematary. I hated that movie. It's like, ugh, don't like kids in horror movies. It just bother me. But Chucky was great today. And I do think he is the right one for the job. He's going to be highly demanded. I like the fact that when who was it? Paul Gutierrez came out and said, the players nowadays, they're not used to being talked to like that way. How are you going to deal with them? He had the perfect response. He said he liked when positive things happen. He liked when they got first downs. He liked when they got touchdowns. He loved when they won. But he did not like when they lost or did bad things, and that's going to come out. It's going to stop. All this millennial crap is going to stop. This, you can't confront a player because, you'll hurt his feelings. No, that's ending. Chucky is back. He's already snarling. I saw at least 3 or 4 snarls. He is back. Chucky is back. We got our Chucky back. I mean, this is... Wow. Wow, Mark Davis has a new bowl cut. He seems to be using a smaller bowl these days. Because his bangs are way up there. I still keep on thinking about Flores and Plunkett. Now, someone should ask them. Someone should ask them exactly why they were scowling. But who's going to ask them why they were scowling? I would ask them why they were scowling. I can't say it enough. I love how how should we say, how he puts it or whatever, that the expectations are just to prepare. They're just to, we're gonna earn. We're gonna get what we earn. We're gonna get what we deserve. I just see him. I just can picture him preaching. Darkhar's gonna love this new preacher. Preaching to the team about the expectations he has for them. And that, to me, was always the commitment to excellence. They need to understand just win, baby, what it really means. Gruden knows. He doesn't have Al Davis to really force things upon him. He doesn't want Janikowski, for one thing. I don't care what anyone says. I don't even care what John says. John did not want Janikowski selected in the first round. Well, Davis had a very peculiar way of drafting over the years. He used to just draft what he wanted. He's not going to reveal much right now. I was hoping to reveal something, but he hasn't even met with these players. And he can't touch them. It's tampering. I think it's pathetic. I think this collective bargaining agreement is ridiculous. These guys are being paid a lot, and they're not being paid to sit there and be overprotected. You don't look after their health, fine or whatever, but come on. There's a lot to be done. There's a lot that was done back then. Raider fans will remember all the stories. Rich Gannon, Gruden, showing up at the same time. Sun hasn't even come up yet. Gruden's like, get out of here. Just all that. It should be real interesting. Saw Rich Gannon there. Wonder if he'll be on the staff, or if he'll be one of the ones interviewed tomorrow. Will Charles Woodson be on the staff? There's one thing that I've always thought about players. Coaches who are great players don't necessarily make good coaches because they kind of expect, it comes so natural to them to be great that they figure everyone could be that if they just coached up. That's not true. Can't. Jack Del Rio was a good player, great player maybe, and could have been part of the problem. Players definitely let him down, and he lost the team. But like Charles Woodson, he might not make a good coach because they don't always make great coaches. Great players don't always make good coaches because they were great for a reason. A lot of it had to do with natural ability. A lot of these players don't have any natural ability. Just look at the average kid nowadays. They don't even ride a bike. They don't even play. That's why they're getting hurt all the time. They're not even doing anything physical. I'm sure some are. But it's all like this fake structural thing. All went along and going back to the late fall. I've been walking every day. On average about 5 miles a day. I'm not noticing too many other people walking 5 miles. And it shows. Their physique compared to my physique is different. And I'm in much better condition at 46 years old than a lot of 46-year-old people are in my area. And this includes walking, let's see, in the fall it would have been mild temperatures, semi-mild, jacket temperatures. It was late fall. I started this kick, and when it's cold is -5 degrees. Although the day was 3 degrees, it was colder because the wind was howling. It was like 18-mile-an-hour winds, but there were gusts involved as well in the feel of the temperature. When it blew, it was real. It was pushing you. It was like if I was on a boat, I would be sailing. But I'm not seeing people doing that. I'm not seeing kids out there walking. you have to wonder about these athletes. I mean, I'm sure we've seen videos. They go to the beach and they do all these exercises on the beach on their own, training in the off season. Okay, that's all fine and good, but starts as a kid, and so all these players coming out in the draft, for one thing, almost all of them are dropouts. Let's face it, they're college dropouts. If you're entering the NFL at your junior year, you're a college dropout. How many actually go back and complete the college course that they signed up for? Very few. You just wonder how they were. Because we're talking about people coming out right now, 20 years old. We're talking about 2000s, late 90s, when they were born. That's an internet generation. That's someone's been on the internet. That is a video game generation that's never not had video games, the internet, computers, and all these other distraction devices. And he's going to have to work with these people. I remember someone like Jack Tatum. He used to say that he didn't work out with free weights. He would run. Running is more natural. I'm walking, and really, you fit in your jeans. Your old jeans fit better, and you have way more stamina. Your legs are high as rocks, and there's a lot of interval involved. I walk past Planet Fitness all the time, and I see those people on the treadmills. The treadmills are right next to the window. There's always a fat guy. I mean, there's always a fat guy on the bicycles. The the what do you call it? The stationary bicycles. And he's just all slumped over, all slovenly, and he's looking at the girls on the treadmills. That's his workout. That's how he gets his heart rate up. But I'm just looking at these people on the treadmills, and I don't care what the stupid technology in it and the video screen in front of you that puts all this the scenery and stuff and the greenery. It's not going to create the same sort of intervals you get in nature, where the wind blows you all of a sudden. The sun is pushing through. You the modern sunglasses. I mean, they don't block out any sun anymore. So at times you're gonna have the sun right in your face earlier in the morning, and you're gonna have some days are gonna be cold than the others. Some gonna be warmer. You're gonna sweat like a pig if you're wearing your winter coat. And at first it's gonna feel okay when you just start your walk and it's 34 degrees. But if you're walking and you're walking 3.5 miles an hour, uh, that coat is gonna feel so hot you're gonna be unzippering it. And it's just that access these players are not going to get. To me, they're not going to get enough. And they should. These are things that should be re-examined of this ridiculous collective bargaining agreement, which is coming up in 2020. So that means anything that is on the table for that would be on the table now. I guarantee they have meetings all the time. I would hope they would. But John Gruden coming back to the Raiders. I mean, I bet he's already to work right now. Raider fans should at least feel good about that. I think should stop visiting websites, Pro Football Reference or whatever, and anything else that tells his history. That was then. This is now. He has been evolving. He said he's been evolving. I believe him. He has looked at things. And it's going to be up to the players. It's going to start with Derek Carr. Derek Carr is going to be challenged like he's never been challenged before. The offense is going to get real complex. And I just hope they put in the commitment on their own where they can't be together. Where this stupid collective bargaining agreement doesn't allow these wide receivers to be with their head coach. And I hope they take it very seriously. Because we the fans are going to be the ones to either enjoy the results or hate the results. And I don't think you're going to be able to blame Chucky. It's going to be on the players. And he's going to have to assess who's the slackers and get rid of them. Who's not going to put in the effort? Because really, there's only so much time they get to prepare. But I'm sure there's cheating with that. This was a very impressive press conference as far as I'm concerned. He's Chucky. He's charismatic. He has a knife. He's Chucky. He had one, sometimes he's very nice and incorrigible, and then he turns and he scowls, and he's Chucky. And that's why we love him. Chucky is back. They should say, "Welcome back, Chucky," not "Welcome back, John Gruden." Really. I can't wait. I can't wait. I think Raider fans should get excited. It sucks that Jack Del Rio got fired like that. But, like I've said in the other video, he lost the team. You can't lose the team. You have to stay in control. Just win, baby. Welcome back, Chucky.